Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Jaredstar2 coming at you today with the much requested Holy Priest guide for the patch 5.0.5/5.1. Now in patch 5.1, Holy Priests were not significantly changed from their 5.0.5 standards, but I do just want to kind of give you guys a brief guide on how I like to play Holy, what I like to do for Holy, etc. And then I will be doing probably two parts to this video. The first part will just be the brief guide to it, and the second part will actually be a gameplay run through of either looking for a raid or an instance. Now the reason that this video took so long to get out was mainly because I've been insanely busy recruiting. So if you haven't noticed, new guild, obviously left the old guild, transferred over, made a new guild. We're doing 10-mans. First 2 weeks together we went 6-6, 6-6, 2-4, which I mean is not bad. Procure on Kil'jaeden US, yeah, hit us up. And I'm obviously a male panda too because of the food, which I'll go over in a minute too, just because it's like Undead's Touch of the Grave isn't doing that much anymore with atonement healing, just from what I've been looking at with my logs. But yeah, if you haven't seen my Discipline Priest guides, go check those out. I have a 3-part guide, as well as how to effectively read your World of Logs as Discipline, and I'll also put that out for Holy. Now let's just jump right into it. Once again, one of the reasons this took so long is because I've been recruiting, I've been busy IRL, and lastly, I just wanted to make this video look really good because the last one's format wasn't as good. I've got a new headset, I've got, I've got a lot of new things, and within the next week and a half or so, I'm upgrading to a new graphics card, new PCU, and a new power supply as well. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So Holy Priests are fun. Like, I like Holy a lot. It's really fun. The only reason I don't play it is because, at least in a 10-man setting, I can just sit there and absorb everything, I don't have to really worry about healing everybody up. That's what I have a Holy Paladin for and a Resto Druid for. So my main job is just to absorb all the incoming damage while still putting ridiculous output in DPS through Atonement. So Holy is, it's one of those specs that people don't play a lot, but when they do play it, they seem to have a lot more fun with it than they do Disc. So let's go over our stat priority as a Holy Priest before we jump into anything. So your first stat primary is Spirit, obviously, which is going to increase our mana regen while out of combat. So yeah, as you can see, I've dropped a lot of Spirit. I was rocking somewhere near 12,000 with Holy. I'm at like 10.2k. That's just across the board now. I can maintain it by the end of the fight. I still most of the times go but I can put out significantly more output anyway. Now our intellect obviously is going to be the second, which increases the powers of our heals and a little bit of our crit. And then our third is going to be our haste, which will increase our casting time, lower the global cooldown, and gives us extra ticks on HOTS. Now, when we get to the first breakpoint of our haste, which is at 3,039, we will get 2 extra ticks on our Holy Word Sanctuary, which is our big AoE. So we get 2 more ticks of that, as well as we get 1 extra tick on Renew. Now our second breakpoint, which isn't really reachable in the current gear level, is 4,721 haste rating, which will give us 1 more tick on our Lightwell, our Holy Word Sanctuary, and our Renew. So, I mean, realistically, after you hit the 30-39, you want to go all mastery. Some people just go all mastery anyway. So let's see. So if you're below the haste cap, I'll go over glyphs in a minute, never mind. So the third stat we're going to be going for, or the fourth rather, is Mastery, which makes our direct heals heal for 21%. So it gives us a hot to our direct heals. Lastly will be our crit chance, which increases to hit for more healing. So that's pretty simple. So basically, spirit to the point that you're comfortable for, obviously intellect, and then haste to the first breakpoint, and then mastery, and that's your basic stat. Now for reforging, if you're having mana issues and you're not really at this point at 2.2, 10.2 rather, or above, then I would honestly recommend just going and reforging everything that's not haste into spirit. But if you're not and you're able to reforge out of some spirit, reforge anything you can that you need into haste or mastery if you're over the first haste cap, and that's pretty much just the general rule of thumb for holy reforging. So for our gems and our enchants for 5.1, obviously our helmet, we're going to be using the revitalizing diamond, and so that's our meta. Blue sockets, we're still using the, let me see if I can find it, the sparkling River's Heart, or whatever the other one is, 320 spirit, we're still using that for yellow sockets. For our yellow sockets, or sorry, for our blue sockets, for our yellow sockets, we're going to be using the Artful Tiger Opals, which is 80 intellect and 160 mastery. For our, if we do have red socket, we'll be using the Purified Rogue Stone. You can also be using the intellect one if you are like not needing that much spirit, but I still think that even with the throughput, I still need some spirit as well, like just to help balance it out. And you know, 160 spirit here and there, it all adds up. So yeah, our enchants pretty much the exact same as disc, as long as you're above the first haste cap. If you're not, what we're looking at is shoulder, obviously the greater crane wing. Cloak will be superior intellect unless you're Taylor. Chest, we're looking at the stats or the spirit. I still go with spirit. Bracers, we are looking at intellect or mastery. I'm going with mastery. You can also go with haste. Your weapon, you'll be using a windsong, enchant, or a jade spirit. Your offhand enchant will be major intellect, which is 165 intellect. Your boots will be the Pandaren step. Legs will be the obvious one. Belt buckle, don't forget it. And your gloves, you can use the haste or the mastery depending on where you stand, where you're with your caps and whatnot. So just don't forget also like your profession bonuses and everything. You want to make sure that you have everything up to par as far as you need to be for progression fights. So let's go over just a little bit real quick our rotation as a holy priest. Single target first. What we're going to want to do is make sure we have our inner fire on, as well as we're going to be using Chakra Serenity, which will increase healing done by your single target healing by 25%, and we'll have them refresh our renewed tick. So every time that you single target heal, there's not that much AoE damage going out, use your Chakra Serenity. Okay, so we use the Chakra Serenity. Obviously, we're going to keep our light well up. We keep that up in all situations that we need it to. We're going to maintain renew. We're going to use our sanctuary, or sorry, serenity on cooldown. We'll use heal to heal low damage. Moderate damage will be healed by greater healing with prayer of mending, and high damage will be healed by a flash heal with a greater heal and a serenity. Now, again, obviously a flash heal will stack up a serendipity, so let's see, boom, boom, and then greater heal is a lot quicker to cast, so keep that in mind when you're trying to heal quicker. So the priority basically though between our renew and our serenity, you always want to make sure that you use renew before you use the serenity, because the renew can tick while you use the serenity, obviously. So as a holy priest, when you are single target healing, you need to manage, like I said already, your serendipity. So flash heal, serendipity. Serendipity reduces the cast time of our next greater healer prayer healing by 20% and the mana cost of it. So, I mean, it's definitely worth it. And boom, and boom, and boom. So yeah, we're going to want to keep that up, as well as our divine insight, which I'll go over a little bit of the talents in just a minute, but it's basically Divine Insight. When you greater heal or prayer of healing, there's a 40% chance your next prayer mending will not trigger its cooldown and will jump to the next target instantly, which is very nice when we're healing. Which is why we take that over Power Infusion as a Holy Priest. We don't have that many cast heals as well. Make sure as well, like, you can still Holy Fire and Smite as a Holy Priest. Don't forget that. Now our AoE rotation is just a little bit different. You know, when people are taking moderate damage, we're going to go around and we're just going to renew them. You know, when prayer mending's on cooldown, we're going to use it. And for those of you that are interested, this is just weak words right here. This tracks how many bounces that this has left. So obviously I have 4 bounces left on prayer mending, and boom. So yeah. After that, we're going to Circle of Healing on cooldown, which is our kind of go-to. We have to use it on cooldown. With the glyph, this heals 6 people for a very nice heal, and also we'll obviously put the Echo of Light Hot on them from our mastery, and then we'll just Prayer of Healing to spam through the raid damage. You can also, while you're AoE healing, there's a lot of damage, you know it's about to come. Flash heal, Serendipity, boom, Prayer of Healing. Look how quick that was. Yeah, so Serendipity is very nice, and use your Divine Insight procs as soon as you can. So also real quick, instead of the Power Word Barrier effect for Holy, we have Divine Hymn instead. Keep in mind that this is not a heal everybody, oh my god, amazing spell. It doesn't absorb like everybody like a Power Word Barrier does, but it heals 5 nearby lowest health friendly party or raid targets within 40 yards for blah 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 for blah blah blah, and increases healing done to them by 10% for 8 seconds. So basically this will just keep continuing to heal the person that's lowest, and then lowest and lowest the next 5. So if people are taking lots of raid damage, and the raid's taking damage, it will eventually get to most of the people, but if they're not, then it's obviously not going to hit everybody and not be as effective as something like a Power Word Barrier. Now let me go into talents just a little bit here, and glyphs. So obviously I'm not going to go in depth as I did with the disc guide. If you want to check that out, you can go and look at the disc guide. I did go very in depth with Cascade, Divine Star, Halo, Desperate Prayer, From Darkness Comes Light, etc. This is what I'm looking at though. I'm looking at Void Tendrils, Body and Soul, Mindbender over FDCL, Desperate Prayer, Divine Insight over Power Infusion, because like I said, much more throughput over the Power Infusion, which is just spell casting, which we're only going to be benefiting from if we're Prayer of Healing and we already have Serendipity. So, and then I'm using Cascade, which obviously, like I said in the other guides, it's very, you know, on a fight-to-fight basis, you choose what you want to do. Like I said, go check out the other guides, look at that, and yeah. For our glyphs, obviously don't pay attention to the minor ones. There aren't any minor ones for Holy, so, I mean. Okay, so what we're looking at is our Prayer Mending. So Glyph of Prayer Mending, the first charge of our Prayer Mending heals for an additional 60%, but we have 1 fewer charge. Now this means that every time we're going to use a Prayer Mending, we're going to want to use it on the tank, so it heals for extra, but it will only have 1 less tick, which I mean is a great trade-off in my opinion. Circle of Healing, mana cost increased by 35%. At this point, mana isn't that much of an issue anymore. People can definitely go for this comfortably. And it will now heal 6 people instead of 5, so that's 2, let's see, if you're doing a 10-man, that's like 3/5 of your raid versus obviously a half, so very nice. And then Glyph of Light Spring. Now what Glyph of Light Spring does, is instead of having our light well where we sit there and we have to click it, click to heal, no. Instead, it's like an emergency basically, but it's a very nice one. So whenever somebody dips below 50% health, it'll heal them and put a hot on them for 6 seconds. I mean, this is amazing. So for fights like when Lord Heroic or something, let's say, when people are dropping low from random blades, etc., boom, 50%, Light Spring heals them up, puts a hot on them. Circle of Healing has another hot, Prayer Mending's another hot, Prayer of Healing's another hot, Renews another hot. We have so many hots thrown on people, and that's the main niche of the Holy Priest. So I guess that's basically all I can go over at this point. make sure that you check out part 2. I'll put the link in the description. It'll be a playthrough of either LFR or dungeon, I'm not sure. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.